All right, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy, and as you can see, just like I predicted, if you will, sneak peek number 6 is here. It's Sunday night, and we're getting a first look, a small look at 2 new uniforms for 2 members of the Sinister Six. The first of which is Dr. Otto Octavius, or Dr. Octopus, Doc Ock, and the second is the man himself, Electro. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know some of you guys are super excited about this, but some of you guys at the same time are super salty because this is a paywall character. But hear me out, man. Hear me out. Don't get upset because Green Goblin is free to play. Okay, Dr. Octopus is free to play. If there's one paywall, it's okay. All right, let's talk, boys. This is good news, and here's even better news. There is nothing in here that says any of these characters are getting a tier 3 or an awakened skill. Now I know right away you're like, wait, what? How's that good news? It means we could possibly see another sneak peek or some other type of surprise when the patch note drops, because there's nothing in here that distinctively says, hey, Electro is getting a tier 3, or hey, Electro is getting an awakened skill. And that was the same situation for Green Goblin. Now, seeing as though that Green Goblin and Electro are both speed characters, it is very much so unlikely that both of them are going to be getting tier 3s. So I'm sticking to my guns, and I'm gonna say it here again. It is a high probability that Green Goblin is going to be sharing an awakened skill with Electro and possibly another member of the Sinister Six. Here's the problem with that, though. Well, I guess not a problem, but here's the situation. Dr. Octopus already has his awakened skill. He has an individual awakened skill, which is very, very rare. So we could see something where there's only 2 people that share an awakened skill, and it is Electro and Green Goblin. I find it very unlikely, though. Lately, they've been making sure that there's 3 characters per awakened skill. Less work for them, right? But who knows? Maybe they'll just put it as Green Goblin and Electro and call it good there. My money is on something for Sandman at the very least, because Sandman is a pretty popular character, and his role in the movie, although it wasn't very much, it was still more than Lizard. Again, I would love to see something for Lizard, but I'm starting to doubt whether or not we are going to see that. But with that being said, let's take a look at what else they had to say today. So over on Twitter, the sneak peek reads, Dr. Octopus and Electro, inspired by Marvel Studios' Spider-Man No Way Home, make electrifying appearances. The most electrifying men in all of sports. I'm just playing. Oh man, let me stop it. But yeah, that's what they said. And then over here on the forums, this is how it reads. Greetings, agents. This is CM Fragment of Marvel Future Fight. Agents, more trouble seems to be ahead for the Spider-Man. Check out the new looks of these 2 supervillains. One who manipulates his tentacles freely, and another who wields a massive amount of electricity. We will announce more details through the patch details later. So here's the thing. Whenever we see this usually means this is the last sneak peek. And after this point, we're only going to see the patch notes, which gives us the date and time of when the update is coming. And then also we're going to see what the uniforms do and the prices attached to them. Generally, when it comes to rolling patches or mid-month patches, whatever you want to call it, we don't see additional characters announced after this point. So that could possibly mean no Lizard and no Sandman. And that is sad. But if it is, there's not really much we can do about it. At least we're going to be getting Green Goblin, Electro, and more importantly, to be honest with you guys, a brand new uniform for Dr. Octopus. And I say more importantly because back in, what was it, November, for Black Friday, they gave out a Transcended Selector. And a lot of people betted or made a bet, took a chance, whatever you want to say, wagered. Yes, a lot of people wagered on Dr. Octopus getting a new uniform for No Way Home, and they chose him from their free Transcended selector. They didn't buy his uniform, which is the superior Octopus, so they have him currently sitting like this. And like this, he's only really viable for Shadowland. He can't really do anything else. So people have been waiting from November to see something for this guy. So knowing now that he's getting a uniform, this is an amazing thing, because now you can cash in on that free Transcended character that you got, and you can get a uniform for 40% off when it releases on Tuesday, Wednesday-ish, or possibly you can wait until the anniversary when it's on sale for 50% off, and then you can get a free Transcended character and a 50% off uniform for Dr. Octopus, and hopefully it takes him to new heights that he's never seen before. I honestly think in this newest uniform that he's going to be receiving, he's going to return to his roots as a combat supervillain. So do keep that in mind. I think he's going to toss aside this whole speed thing and go back to being a combat supervillain. So keep that in mind, which means he's no longer going to be viable. There's a chance. Again, if they keep him at speed, cool. If they don't, it is what it is. I personally would like it if they transferred him back to being a combat supervillain. And here's the reason why. If he goes back to being a combat supervillain, there's a high chance that he's going to be better than Apocalypse for Extreme Alliance battle. Apocalypse at this point is very old. And I bring up Apocalypse because of the fact that although Apocalypse is very old, he's still what a lot of people use for Extreme Alliance battle, because they didn't want to pay 1,700 crystals for Kingpin's winter uniform, right? So if Dr. Octopus gets a combat supervillain uniform and he actually becomes, I would say, not as good, but he could be better than Kingpin. Highly doubt it, because they wouldn't want to replace this uniform 5 months after they release it. Means by next year, Christmas time, nobody's going to be buying it, right? Because literally the only thing that Kingpin is good for is Extreme Alliance battle. But if Dr. Octopus with a combat uniform can come close to what Kingpin can score, that would be really good for a lot of free-to-play players, because again, like I said, 50% off his uniform, because his uniform is just going to be a regular non-seasonal uniform, so it is going to go on sale, unlike these winter, summer, fall, whatever uniforms that never go on sale. And unlike Apocalypse, who's a tier 2 native to build and his uniform natively costs more money because he's a tier 2 native, this would be a major win for free-to-plays. The only thing that I would say is I would like to see them bump up his damage accumulation on Sinister Plan. Speaking of which, I wonder if they would just be taking the animation for his Awaken skill and then giving that to the other members of the Sinister Six, because he's one of the few characters in the game that have an Awaken skill that only he has. It's very unique to him. This was back in the day when they decided that they were just going to give characters Awaken skills and they weren't going to just copy paste it to a bunch of different characters. But now it's a different ball game. They take one Awaken skill and copy it to like 2 or 3 characters minimum. But we'll see what they decide to do. I would like to see a heal in his kit somewhere, because his survivability for World Boss Legend is not very good because he doesn't have a heal. So that's a big thing for me. We need to see a heal in this kit and more damage accumulation, or if not more damage accumulation, he needs more buffs. So like crit rate buffs, crit damage buffs, guaranteed crit rate. And he also needs something very similar to what we see on characters like Sabretooth, where they do more critical damage based on their critical attack. So this thing right here, 30% chance to do 100% more critical damage on critical attacks. I think that's pretty cool. We don't see that very often on characters, so I would like to see something like that on Dr. Octopus if they're not going to bump up the amount of damage accumulation that he has. As for Electro, listen, they need to do something that makes him relevant for a good long time, because the best he has going for him right now is a leadership. So he needs to either put out amazing DPS to go along with this leadership to make him actually worthwhile. Speaking of which, I wonder if they're going to take away the Dark Avengers tag from Green Goblin and give him the Sinister Six tag. Let me just double check. Does he have it without? You see, he doesn't have the Sinister Six tag without the uniform. So I'm hoping that with his newest uniform, he gets the Sinister Six tag so he can actually take advantage of this guy's leadership, because it only applies to Sinister Six members, and it would apply to Dr. Octopus both with and without his uniform. So hopefully we can actually see that, because otherwise it would be kind of stupid, because for Dr. Octopus, even without his uniform, he still has the Sinister Six tag. So I need to see that for Green Goblin. And I think what they should do to make this guy relevant after this update is to actually give him something very similar to what they gave to my guy Ben Riley with this tier 2 passive here that gives extra damage to heroes and villains whenever he's teamed up with Spider-Sense characters. If they give Electro something like that, make it so that whenever you use Electro, you get extra all attack, all defense, all speed, plus if they're members of the Sinister Six, then they do extra damage to heroes and villains. That'd actually be really, really beneficial. That would make it so that Green Goblin is super relevant, assuming that his DPS is good enough to replace Bullseye for squad battle, because we already have a good enough leadership in Black Cat, most people anyways, if they're spending money, and the only way to get Electro is to spend money. So realistically, it will be kind of counterproductive to give him a 60%, because it's 40 now. So the most I would see them bumping this up to is like 60 or 70%. 70% still wouldn't be better than Black Cat, because Black Cat has the tier 2, not tier 2 passive, the artifact that gives you a support buff as well. So this is pretty useful for a squad battle. So what they would need to do if they wanted to actually shake up the squad battle meta is actually give an extra 40% extra damage to heroes and villains via Electro's passive. Otherwise, they need to give this guy broken levels of DPS, because I don't see people going out of their way to buy him if he's not offering something that they can't live without. I'm gonna say that because at the end of the day, we have so many strong speed characters in the game right now, and if he just comes in and he's just strong but doesn't offer anything unique, sure, some super fans will buy him. Sure, some people who already have him, like me, will go out and buy his uniforms. But at the end of the day, you want people who never had the character to actually buy him, so you make money. I'm speaking directly to Netmarble, because that's how business works, right? The people already spend their money. You already made money off people like me. The people who don't have them, those are the people you want to be targeting. You want to make sure that you offer something super valuable that people want on this character this time around. Otherwise, it's going to be an easy pass. We got Makari, we got Hawkeye, we got Kate Bishop, and a ton of other speed characters right now. So speed is a very, very heavily contested character. And even when it comes to like support systems, come on, we got Wave and White Fox, you know what I'm saying? They're holding it down. So he got to offer something super clutch, and it needs to kind of be like niche, because when it comes to squad battle, we can't use Wave and White Fox in the super villain category. So this is where you could make a good amount of money, because this is the best team currently, right? If you were to make it so that Green Goblin is viable here, effectively removing the need for Bullseye, because his uniform is old. If you've been playing the game, you had your time using Bullseye. If you make this the new squad battle meta, Green Goblin DPS, and let's say Electro actually has good DPS, you can tag him in and use his Awaken skill or whatever, cool. But then he also offers you 40% extra damage to Surtur, because Surtur is a villain or whatever. That'd be pretty dope, right? Right there, you upset the meta a little bit, and then people have a reason to go out and pick up Electro if they're pushing for rank 1 in squad battle. And then obviously, since he can be transcended, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, like if they give us 3 uniforms for characters that can't be tier 3 to transcended, I'll be like, what the hell is this? People will be big mad. But they don't do that no more, right? Hopefully, fingers crossed. Hopefully, the last time we'll ever see that is what they did with Black Cat. Point is, they gotta give us something unique, otherwise it's a waste of time.